Hey there guys, this is Flamzeron, aka YouTube's Tosuke, and welcome to the first of probably 3 or maybe 4 Dark Souls videos in preparation for Dark Souls 2. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys an opinion I have. That opinion is that I think Demon Souls was a pitch project or a beta of Dark Souls of sorts. Now, I'm relatively new to these kind of opinionated Dark Souls videos or Dark Souls videos in general, and I'm not trying to become a Dark Souls YouTuber like Epic Name Bro or Vidyavadi or Peverson or whoever the fuck that is. But I do want to kind of talk about Dark Souls for a little bit, and I've been kind of wanting to do like sort of like an opinion or like a lore video or something, which I'll get to in a bit later on as time goes on. Now, I will warn you before I begin that this is not only unscripted, but this is also based on just pure speculation, and I might even forget some stuff. And if I do, I'll try to update you guys and whatnot. So, I'm just going to kind of roll off, and you'll hear me drinking stuff. This will be unscripted and whatnot. So, I guess we'll get started. But actually, before we get started, I will let you guys know that this gameplay you're seeing is gameplay of a new character I'm rolling for Demon Souls because my friend Nick lost all his PlayStation 3 save data, so he's having to replay both Demon Souls and Dark Souls, so we're probably going to spend a good bit of the summer replaying both of those games, and I'm just trying to help him out. I already have a character for Dark Souls, and I decided to make one for Demon Souls just to kind of get a head start since you can't even play the first level anyway. But yes, I think that Demon Souls was a pitch project and or an open beta for Dark Souls. Now, why do I think that exactly? Well, I've got 3 or so points as to why. The first one, kind of a weak point, you might say. That first point is that the fact that the next Souls game is Dark Souls 2. Now, you might be thinking, dude, Flamzeron, that's really lame. Now, hear me out before you start judging me and pooping on me and doing weird stuff and telling me I'm gay or something. Keep in mind that from what we figured that it would be a spiritual successor, you know. Dark Souls was a spiritual successor to Demon Souls. Why start doing a numbered sequel now? It's become pretty apparent to me that this is a sequel, especially because of the fact that the dragons, so we thought, are wyverns. So they're clearly not dragons. They're just a type or a partial dragon. So this is clearly a sequel to Dark Souls. Now, why even do a sequel if your very first thing wasn't meant to be, you know, really anything important? Now, you could just say, well, they just kind of want to keep doing Dark Souls stuff, but at the same time, why? You know, they could have done Demon Souls 2, and I'm not saying they should have, but I mean, why Dark Souls 2? Why not do another spiritual successor or continue the game in some other fashion? You know, why specifically Dark Souls 2? The fact that it's a number sequel kind of lets me know that Dark Souls is meant to carry on, which will bring me to my second point. When you read interviews, the directors and producers and developers of the games will often call the series the Dark Souls series. Not the Soul series, the Dark Souls series. You can look up any like professional interview and they'll call it the Dark Souls series. The only time they'll call it the Soul series is when the interviewer will call it the Soul series, and that's just more of like just a politeness thing, not to correct them. It's like, oh no, you're pronouncing it wrong. It's Kaioken, not Kaioken, or yeah, I have to throw in Dragon Ball, but or just to throw in Tails, it's Undini, not Undine, you know. But the fact that they're calling it the Dark Souls series is telling me that Dark Souls is supposed to be kind of the franchise, you know, the thing that kind of takes off and continues onward. Now, you could argue that, well, Dark Souls is just a start. They just only recently decided to make it a franchise. But even before they had announced that they were going to do another Dark Souls game, they still called it the Dark Souls series. So, unless they decided to make Dark Souls a franchise as soon as they started working on it, you know, to me, that just doesn't make much sense. You know, why take the time so early, you know? It's clear to me, it seems like Dark Souls is supposed to kind of be the actual franchise as opposed to like a last minute decision, you know? That's just my thought process on that portion. I feel like with Dark Souls, there was more an intent. I say there was an intent to make it to continue on. Well, I'll get to what I think actually went on with the development side near the end. But my next point, and potentially my final one, if I don't think of another one, is the progression of Demon Souls and Dark Souls to Dark Souls 2. Demon Souls and Dark Souls, like I said in my previous video, you know, there are some stuff changed. You know, there's a color difference. Dark Souls seems to have more of an emphasis on green and different kind of colors, and blue and brown, as opposed to just having the giant black and gray with a bit of tan kind of color skew that Demon Souls had. And obviously different world, different character designs, different weapon and armor designs. But the gameplay was still relatively the same. And I know that there wasn't much time. Well, no, that doesn't really matter. The time the game came out doesn't really matter, you know. They could have... I mean, unless Dark Souls 2 is going to take like a year or two for them to actually finish it. But the fact that they're showing us stuff now is letting me know that it's either close or closer to getting close to an actual date, which we actually don't know yet. But when you look at Demon Souls and Dark Souls, there's not much different based on how they play and the graphical power. You know, there might be a slight difference in graphical power, and obviously Dark Souls uses an updated kind of mechanic system, like different, you know, jumping, like rolling attacks, you know, different kind of stuff to kind of make the game easier, I think. But overall, the gameplay is relatively the same. I mean, there's some stuff different that I feel like makes Demon Souls a little rougher around the edges than Dark Souls, but honestly, they're pretty much the same game. Not reskinned, obviously, but you know, like it wasn't just that blatant of a copy over. In fact, it probably wasn't even a copy over in the first place. Now, Dark Souls to Dark Souls 2, it's more apparent to me that, you know, Dark Souls is an update on Dark Souls. To me, it looks like this is the new thing. Okay, we showed you what we can do. Here's what we can do now that we've seen what we can do before. To me, Dark Souls 2 looks more like just a sequel, a continuation of Dark Souls. While Dark Souls didn't really look like a continuation of Demon Souls. It looked like roughly the same game. Which I think was a good idea. Which also gave me the idea of another possibility that would go on the other side of my argument, but I'll get to that near the end. And I remembered my other argument as well. Demon Souls is a pretty short game. It got recently put on PlayStation Network, and you're thinking, well, what does that have to do with anything? Well, nothing. But when you think about just really all you have to do in Demon Souls, I mean, yes, the levels are longer, but they're really only like 3 or 4 sections a level. It's not really that... Demon Souls isn't really that long of a game, you know. You can get through it pretty quickly, especially if you have warding, where it's kind of broken up. The game just seems really short to me, and like Dark Souls seemed a little bit longer. And honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if they originally intended it just to be where you fight, like, you know, Nito and, you know, the 4 Kings and the Witch of Izalith and whatnot, before deciding, hey, we need to make this longer and make it, you know, an actual longer game. But Demon Souls is just so much shorter, you know. It almost seems to me like it may have been something else. You know, honestly, when you think about it, it does have a lot of depth to it, but digital sort of shorter games don't have to be just like really tiny, you know? Not to mention some games just have digital releases in general that are maybe published by like a different developer, not like a third party thing. Well, I think Dark Souls is probably going to rise up to become, you know, a pretty big franchise by the end of Dark Souls 2, and maybe we'll have Dark Souls 3 at some point, but or maybe it'll go like Champions of Norath, and we'll get a spiritual successor that won't be successful, and then the entire thing will just die, which will be sad. No, don't think about that. But to me, Demon Souls was just really short when you think about it, which comforted me a little bit in my ability to beat it, because if it was longer, I would have felt overwhelmed by it. But those are my points on why I think Demon Souls was a pitch project, or perhaps a beta for Dark Souls. I say more of a pitch project than a beta, just because of the fact that it's an actual retail game, and you know. And that's just my opinion. Now, as for what I think kind of went behind the scenes, like the way I think happened, this is my speculation on, and remember, this entire thing is speculation. It's only based on my observations, so don't take it as fact. You can disagree with it if you want to, but at least be nice about it, please. I think From Software came up with an idea of either making a game to bring back, you know, sort of that classic sort of difficulty in games, or perhaps making a game where death had more of a consequence to it that would kind of teach you to be a little more careful. Because in most games, you know, when you die, it sucks, but there's no real major consequence besides a loss of short progress, given if you haven't saved or not. So From Software went around the horn, if you will, to different developers and publishers and saying, hey, this is our game, or this is our idea, and perhaps had a demo or something, or an idea of what they want to do in like a little short demo or something, and they showed it to someone. Now, from what I understand, Demon Souls was co-developed by Sony, which may be people's main argument with this, but before you post and start flaming me and calling me gay or whatever, like you would do that, I know I've already used that joke before, but before you start hitting me with things, I think that perhaps From Software went to Sony like, hey, here's our idea, what do you think? And then Sony was like, oh, that's great. It's great, let's do it, you know? Let's make this an actual thing. But, I mean, it's still a pitch project. You still kind of have to work with it and, you know, see what can we do with it. You know, let's release it, see what it does, you know, and let's see how we can expand on it. You know, not many game developers do that, but I think that Demon Souls was one of those situations where it was. So Sony helped From Software with developing Demon Souls, and they released it. And it's like, oh, this game sold well, awesome. It's like, okay. And so then I think From Software was maybe ready to take on the next step with Dark Souls and maybe start their actual big thing. Like Dark Souls, in a sense, is maybe the big starter for the franchise. They wanted to make... Perhaps maybe they had the idea to make a franchise. Maybe they were trying to make a new franchise. I mean, everyone wants their game to be... Any developer wants their game to be successful, but it's important to... yeah, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, like I said, this would be unscripted, so maybe future videos will be scripted, I don't know, but... And then when they were working on Demon Souls, they were like, okay, here's what we did with our little pitch project. What can we do to make it better? for the actual big boy. We're ready to kind of go out. You know, it's almost like showing your product to teaming up with a publisher to show off your a publisher rather, to show off your project to a small group, and then you make an updated version of that product and show it to the actual public. And then in Dark Souls 2's case, you take that product, the updated product, how can you expand it even further? How can you improve it as opposed to just making it more accessible? How can you improve it to the next level to say, this is part 2, this is the next thing, this is the sequel, this is Dark Souls 2. That's my thought process. Now, another idea that someone may have is, well, maybe, just maybe, which I might have to stall because I am sort of losing it a little bit, but maybe Dark Souls was supposed to just be a spiritual successor. Maybe FromSoft was just ready to move on to a different group. Or perhaps they weren't pleased with Sony not publishing the game worldwide. I personally don't entirely know if From Software really cares. I mean, it's hard for me to tell whether or not... I mean, obviously a developer will want their game to be successful worldwide. In an interview, for example, in an interview on the Berserk DVD, Kentaro Miura asked the interviewer, how big is Berserk in Western territories? He was genuinely curious how popular the series was in the West. Now, that may be because Berserk is a Western-style story, but the fact that he was curious is, pretty interesting. And, as a writer, and aspiring novelist and comic book writer, I would be interested to know how my stories would do outside of the U.S. or Japan, because I do kind of have some anime-themed stories that I'd like to write. But at the same time, I don't particularly care how my stories are treated in other countries. I don't really want to say too much about that because I don't want to jinx anything. But for me, the big thing is North America and Japan. Sort of like some people, when you're talking about games, it seems like they really are focusing just on the Western side of things. Well, the Japanese gaming market is getting smaller, as I am told from the Tales producer Hideo Baba. But anyway, so another possibility is that perhaps they want to make a spiritual successor and ready to move on to something else. Perhaps Sony asked From Software, "Hey, do you want to make Demon's Souls a franchise with us?" And maybe From Software was like, "No, we kind of want to see what we can do to improve this game." And so they went to Namco Bandai to publish it. Of course, Namco Bandai also published Demon's Souls in Europe. So perhaps, this is actually really interesting to me now. Perhaps the international releases of Demon's Souls was a test to see what publisher should we go with, because Namco Bandai and Atlus, who published Demon's Souls in Europe and North America respectively, are both Japanese-based companies that publish games in Japan, or at least I'm pretty sure Atlus does. And Atlus published Demon's Souls in North America, while Sony published them in Japan, and they have a big hand in the Japanese market. Atlus has a big hand in the North American market with their Japanese niche titles. Another choice would have been Exceed, or who published the East games, or NIS America, who have been doing Disgaea lately in Airtone Lico. And Namco Bandai seems to have a pretty big hand in Europe, from what I can tell. I mean, they published Saint Seiya, so that's leading me to believe that with the Tales series, they just didn't care. But anyway, so that's another possibility, that they were either doing a test to see what kind of publisher would work, But that also goes along with my idea that Demon's Souls was a pitch project, because why would you need to test what publisher would work best for your franchise? It really, if this is the case, though, this would be a really odd way to test your franchise. You know, in a day like, in this day and age, you know, with MMOs getting open betas and whatnot for people to test, okay, here's our game, what do you think, you know? It's very odd to kind of see a Japanese developer, really any developer, of a console single player, or not really single, of a console game, and a console action game, take this kind of route of making another game, which probably should have been a download only, a download small indie game, and then rise up to something bigger. In fact, I think Dark Souls sold more than Demon's Souls. And it should also be noted, just for speculation's sake, that Demon's Souls, even in North America and Europe, was exclusive to the PS3, while in North America, I think exclusively in North America, it's also available on Xbox. In Japan, they're switching it, so I think perhaps that Dark Souls is intended to be the big franchise, while Demon's Souls was the pitch project. That's really what I think, based on what I'm gathering from all this information. And if you have any theories that disprove this, or any ideas that you, or anything you don't agree with, or maybe you agree with me completely, you know, let me know in the comments. You know, just let me know. I'm still kind of new to this. Maybe I'll do scripting for the next one. I probably should. I've done scripting for this one, but that's just my thoughts on the matter. Essentially, I just think that Demon's Souls was just sort of like a pitch project initially, and Dark Souls is to be the main franchise. So the next game might be after Dark Souls 2, maybe Dark Souls 3, or maybe a spin-off of Dark Souls. I wouldn't mind seeing Dark Souls on a portable. Yeah, probably should edit this more, but I'm not going to, actually. I don't care. So that's just my thoughts on Demon's Souls being a pitch project to Dark Souls. Mainly a pitch project. I know I said beta beforehand, but I don't really think it's a beta, personally. Also, I forgot to mention in my last video, kind of going E and B style, where I mentioned little notes to previous videos. I forgot to mention that with my Dark Souls 2 gameplay trailer, or gameplay reveal, video, that there seems to be, I think it's a rumor personally, that the PC version is being developed first to kind of serve as the base of the whole game, and then every other version will work from that. That will be fine. I think I'm a little worried as to what that'll do. I can't say for much what I think it'll do, but that's perhaps a different story for another time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm actually getting close to my personal time limit because I only recorded so much footage. The way I did this was that I recorded my footage for Demon's Souls first, then recorded this bit, my audio portion. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you want to subscribe, or no, I'm not gonna do that. I mean, if you want to, you can, but let me know what you think about this. Let me know any ideas you have. Do you think it was a pitch project, or do you think I'm just completely stupid and probably gay? Actually, no. Yeah. So, this is Flamsaron, aka YouTube's Tosuke, signing out. Try to stay alive. I almost forgot my little note there. Okay, bye.